All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle a classic case of mistaken identity in the dog world today. This whole explainer is about clearing up the confusion between two fantastic but totally distinct terrier breeds that, often get lumped together.
So take a good look here. At first glance, yeah, they look pretty similar, right? You see that strong, muscular, confident vibe. But trust me, by the end of this, you're going to be spotting the key differences like an absolute pro. But before we can really compare our two main breeds, we've got to talk about the elephant in the room, that term pit bull. It's a label that gets thrown around all the time, so let's get on the same page about what it actually is and isn't. Okay, so here's the most important thing to get. Pit bull is more of a nickname, a type, but it is not a specific breed that's recognized by major groups like the American Kennel Club. The two dogs we're focusing on today, the Staffordshire Bull Terrier and the American Staffordshire Terrier, are official recognized breeds with their own unique rule books. So let's kick things off with the Staffy. And to really get this breed, we're going right to the source, the official illustrated standard. Seriously, think of this as the dog's blueprint. It details every single feature that makes a Staffy a Staffy.
If there's one word you remember about the Staffordshire Bull Terrier's body, it should be this one: balance. The whole breed is this carefully crafted mix of old-school bulldog power and that zippy, agile terrier spirit. If you get too much of one or the other, you kind of lose the whole point of the Staffy.
And this picture shows you exactly what happens when that balance is off. On the left, you've got a dog that's too racy, too much like a terrier, so it's lacking that bulldog strength. And on the right, you see one that's too cloddy, too much bulldog, which means it loses its agility. The ideal Staffy is right in that sweet spot in the middle.
And here it is, perfection. This is that perfect balance. The standard calls this dog an efficient athlete. It's powerful, it's muscular, absolutely, but there's no exaggeration. Every part of this dog's body is built for strength, agility, and getting the job done.
Let's talk numbers. Staffies should be between 14 and 16 inches tall. But what's really interesting is how that height relates to their weight. See, a 16-inch dog that's too light would be too terrier-like, and a 14-inch dog that's too heavy would be too bulldog-like. It's that specific ratio that gives them their substance. So go ahead and lock these numbers in your brain because they are going to be a huge point of comparison in a few minutes.
Now, let's zoom in on the head, because this is a real trademark of the breed. It's short, it's deep, with a really broad skull. But look at those cheek muscles. They're super pronounced. That gives the jaw some serious power and helps create that famous, lovable expression that people call the Stafford smile.
The eyes are also a huge part of that classic look. They need to be round, medium-sized, and looking straight at you. The standard says dark eyes are best, but they can be related to the coat color. It's that direct, smart gaze that's just a hallmark of the breed.
And you can see right away how things that don't follow the standard create what the guide calls a foreign expression. Eyes that are bulging or slanted are considered false because, well, they just fundamentally change that classic Staffy face.
Moving on to the mouth. The ideal here is a perfect scissor bite. That's where the outside of the bottom teeth just gently touch the inside of the upper teeth. The standard is really clear on this one. A bad overbite or underbite is a pretty serious fault.
I just love this description from the official standard. It's such a perfect, memorable way to describe the Staffy's tail. It's not just any old tail, it's got a very specific shape, and the way they carry it is really unique.
And here, you can actually see that pump handle idea in action. The tail is medium length, it's set low, and it tapers down to a point. When the dog's moving, it can come up a little, but it's not supposed to curl way over its back. It's just another one of those subtle but really important parts of the breed's blueprint.
Okay, so with that super detailed Staffy blueprint fresh in our minds, let's hop across the pond. We're gonna see what happened when this breed's relatives were developed over in America, which gave us its American cousin, the American Staffordshire Terrier, or as most people call it, the Amstaff.
So the Amstaff is described as loyal, smart, and confident. But the first thing that probably jumps out at you are those stats. They're a lot bigger. And that's no accident. When these dogs came to the US, American breeders started selecting for a taller, heavier dog. They wanted less of a compact fighter and more of an all-around farm dog. A dog that could help with livestock, guard the property, and still be a great family companion. That's what thrives with a job to do really means. It is literally baked into their history. So they're bigger for a reason. Their job changed.
So we've met both dogs on their own terms. Now for the fun part. Let's put them side by side and make spotting those key differences crystal clear. This chart really lays it all out, doesn't it? The Staffy comes from England, the Amstaff from the US. Then you've got the most obvious difference, size, which we now know comes from their different jobs in history.
The Amstaff is taller and can weigh almost twice as much as a Staffy. For build, a good way to think about it is compact athlete for the Staffy and stocky guardian for the Amstaff.
And just to really hammer this point home, look at that weight difference. A male Staffy at the top of his weight class, 38 pounds, is still lighter than an Amstaff at the very bottom of its weight class, 45 pounds. I mean, size is truly the most immediate, undeniable way to tell them apart.
But hey, the differences aren't just skin deep. These two breeds, even though they share ancestors, have really been developed to have distinct personalities and temperaments.
This quote from the Staffy Standard, man, it's so telling. It specifically calls out the breed's famous affection for people, especially children. That just solidifies its reputation as a top-tier family companion. This is absolutely core to who they are.
So, if we're going to generalize a little bit, the Staffy is often described as being super playful, with that well-known soft spot for kids. The Amstaff, on the other hand, is known for its confidence and good nature, often tapping into that history as a farm dog to be a watchful and protective family guardian.
Okay, let's do a quick recap of the really crucial points. The Staffy, smaller, more compact, from England. The Amstaff, taller, heavier, from the USA and developed for a different job. And remember, Pit Bull is a catch-all term, not a specific breed. And maybe most importantly, both of these are totally distinct breeds with their own unique blueprints.
And that brings us right back to where we started. Now that you've seen the blueprints, now that you get the history behind what makes them different, the next time you see one of these amazing dogs, you won't just see a bully breed. You'll see an individual, a unique dog shaped by a very distinct past. So the real question is, now, can you see the difference?